Tensions are bubbling between the government and its chief legal advisor, Solicitor-General Una Jagose, over new prosecution guidelines. The 200-page document asks prosecutors to think carefully about particular decisions where a person is Māori, a directive at odds with the Coalition's view of race relations. Senior political reporter Bridie Whitten has the story.
Māori-Crown relations at perhaps the most tense they have been in decades. Scrapping the Māori Health Authority, David Seymour's Treaty Principles Bill, reigniting the foreshore and seabed debate, and directing ministries with Māori names to rebrand in English have led to mass protest. The latest pressure point is the political difference between the government's chief legal advisor, Solicitor-General Una Jagose, and Attorney-General Judith Collins over new guidelines for prosecutors. The guidelines were published earlier this month, and Una Jagose says they ask prosecutors to think carefully about particular decisions where a person, whether the victim or the defendant, is Māori or member of any other group that is disproportionately impacted by the criminal justice system. Jagose says this does not promote different treatment based on ethnicity or membership of a particular group. It instead alerts prosecutors to situations and factors that may deliver inequitable outcomes for people in those groups. But Attorney-General Judith Collins has issues with this guidance. In a statement, she said the Solicitor-General issues the prosecution guidelines independently of government, but that doesn't mean the government is comfortable with it or agrees with how it's been worded. She said the government's been clear that New Zealanders should be treated equally before the law and that people should be held to account for their actions regardless of their background.
I'll agree with the Attorney-General, who I think will be on the same page as me on this matter.
Guidelines are totally inconsistent with the values of a civilised country where everyone is equal before the law.
I believe that there's an activism creeping into the judiciary.
I don't believe it, I know it.
All people should be treated equally. Tangata whenua should equally be treated and recognised as tangata whenua.
A recent police report found there is structural racism against Māori. Being Māori increases the likelihood of prosecution by 11%.
My hope is that once they're seen in their full context, in the context that I've described as responding to a bias that has existed, that research shows has existed in the justice system, that some of the concerns or the initial reactions we've seen from various groups will fall away. And
then there's the issue of political overreach.
I think we need to be very careful as members of Parliament and as politicians in making criticism of the Solicitor-General, who needs to operate independently.
Judith Collins is out of the country until Sunday, but this issue will rear its head again next month when there'll be a national hikoi against the Coalition government's policies affecting Māori.